Welcome to the H series of webinars. This series is aimed at new and aspiring sheep producers to give them a step up into the Queensland sheep industry. This How to Buy and Sell Sheep webinar is the 10th and final part of the series and covers how to buy and sell sheep in the sale yards, on the computer, via an agent and by private sale. This webinar was delivered by Gus Foote of Nutrient Ag Solutions on the 11th of October 2021. This is clip 1 of 4 and covers buying and selling sheep through the sale yard.
Gus Foote's my name. I work for Nutrient Ag Solutions here in Charleville. Yeah, I've been an agent, livestock agent, for probably just going on 5 years. Have a family property south of Mitchell, Western Queensland. So I've grown up the land and had a bit to do with sheep, around sheep for quite a while. We've had sheep at times on my properties, on my mum and parents' properties. So yeah, but just going on 5 years as an agent, and we'll go from here. So today I'll go through a few slides with you all. Just said my dot points was, buying and selling sheep from sale yards, pros and cons about that. Well, another option would be buying and selling sheep online. We use Auctions Plus quite a bit as agents. Buying and selling sheep in the paddock, and then we'll move on to using an agent to buy and sell sheep, and then you as a buyer or seller going direct buying or selling yourself. So anyway, I'll move on to the next slide and we'll go from there. So yeah, this is purchasing out of the sale yard. So go to the sale yards to purchase sheep. You firstly need to set up an account with your preferred agent, whoever you use. So that might be like a Nutrient myself or an Elders or someone like that. So you'll generally go to the sale yards, see your agent, and you'll set up a bid card. With that bid card, you'll need to supply all your relevant information. So, for example, your PIC number, who you trade as, what agent you're booking the sheep down to, and then you go from there. So with your bid card, you'll go and try and purchase the sheep. After the sheep that you want to, you purchase the sheep, you or your agent must organise the trucking details, what truck is going to pick the sheep up, where you want the sheep to be dropped off to, what time, when, and if it's going to take a day or two to pick them up, or whether you need to organise with the selling agent who sold the sheep to you, whether the sheep need to be fed or put on the water. Please note that when buying sheep, it is always plus GST, and selling sheep in a sale yard. So when you go to pay, it'll be plus GST. So it might be $100 per head plus your GST. So I suppose, if you go the positives about buying out of a sale yard, well, there's always, you go to a sale yard, there's always a lot of good numbers to choose from. Large variety of sheep there and from all sorts of ages. The sheep are drafted up and lost to buy. You'll have when the agent gets the sheep, he'll draft them up. So you'll have a lead, a middle, and then a tail. The sheep will be all drafted up into their age groups, mouthed, and they'll be basically there in front of you. You know what you're going to buy. You know what the sheep are like, and you can go from there. Probably the negative about buying out the sale yards is there's plenty of other purchasers like yourself looking to buy there. So it's a very good place to buy, and a lot of people know that. So you'll have, times, and particularly times like now, there's a lot of competition out there. So that's probably one of the only negatives about buying out the sale yards. Put the other shoe on with when you're selling in the sale yards. You always need to sell through an agent, your preferred agent. When selling, you'll need to make sure that you have an account set up. You make the decision to sell, you book them in to sale with an agent, you send them in, your sheep will get mouthed, drafted into their age groups, they get sold at auction. The sheep are always sold as dollars per head plus GST. The money is then transferred to your account. The positives of selling in the sale yard are, particularly times like now, there'll be access to a lot of buyers there. There'll be a lot of people, it's a good selling centre, people are always there looking to buy, competition is strong. And it's relatively easy to sell in a sale yard. You must them, you book the numbers in with your agent, you load them onto a truck, you get them there, they sell them, you get your money. Probably negatives, if the sheep aren't sold, if you don't get what you want, well, you're faced with the option of probably having to load them back on the truck and bringing them back home. Very costly. Sale yards, there's a lot of fees. There's a lot of fees when selling in sale yards. So you get charged yard fees, you get charged agent commission, and you'll get charged freight for the truck driver to truck them from your place to the sale yard. There's also a possibility of depending on what sort of season, how long the stock are there, and how long they're in transit, there'll be possible weight loss and stress for the livestock. in the process of trucking them to the yards. They get nailed, they get moved around a lot, they get drafted. Sometimes they don't take to water or feed straight away, so you generally have to prepare that they're probably not going to be as heavy or as good as when you sent them when they get there. That's your negatives of a selling in a sale yard, and that's the options you have to weigh up with sale yards.
Thank you for watching this short clip. For more information, please visit www.leadingsheep.com.au.